Tonight, on CSY News, it's the King's speech. His Majesty King Caston of Cascadia is set to deliver his 7th annual New Year's speech. His speech changes every year, and last year it was a bit of a gruff rebuff of society and its tendencies towards materialism. But what will the King talk about this year? And are we looking at the last King of Cascadia? We will debate the merits of the monarchy tonight on Headline.
I like King Caston. I like that he is different. He's unique in a world of cookie cutter. Brand name wearing people he has the balls to stand up and be something else. The king is nothing more than an overgrown man-child. I don't like that he is religious. I don't think we need a king in the Pacific Northwest. He spoke up for me. And no one speaks up for me. I was that person under a bridge that year that he was talking about sleeping under a cardboard roof. And I thought, that's me. There's someone out there who cares, who gets it, and who is not just telling, but showing other people why they should care too. God bless you, Caston. Really, God save the king. We have a king in Seattle.
Yeah, all right. I can get into that.
Okay.
God save the king, man.
I have always admired King Caston and the Cascadian monarchy for their dedication to their people and their ability to adapt to the evolving world around them. It is clear that King Caston has embraced his role with grace and wisdom, embodying the true essence of leadership in a modern society.
Welcome to our coverage of King Caston's New Year's speech. I am special event correspondent and your host for tonight, Marshall Mathers. We begin tonight with a show of pomp and pageantry, or is it just hype and shameless self-congratulatory custom? I don't know the answer to that, but if the real King Caston would please stand up, then please stand up, King Caston. And I suppose he will in just a few minutes here. Let's, in the meantime, ask our two panelists what their thoughts are on the monarchy and how much longer it can last in Cascadia, as we could be looking at the last PNW King, with me to answer that question as to whether or not we are the ones that made him, or if he's really sent to save us from ourselves, are Chad Durhammer and Serena Dolichinios. Chad is from the People's Northwest, a Republican group looking to abolish the monarchy entirely, and Serena is brand new from the Royal Society of Cascadia. Welcome to you both. So, what do we think? Is this going to be a speech that we're going to be looking at next year and the year after that and the year after that on our calendars, or is it the end of the line for King Caston and the monarchy?
Thank you. It's my first interview. I'm very excited. I think we are going to observe...
I'm just going to say it. It's the end of the line, isn't it? I mean, honestly, it is the 21st century. This guy is... Well, if you were just going to meet him on the street and see him walking around with a crown on his head, which is a thing I guess people can do, and that he actually does, am I the only one thinking that this guy is just insane? That he's just a few bats short of a belfry? He doesn't even believe in democracy as the primary bedrock for our society. He believes in an outdated, and completely irrelevant system. It's completely useless to us. There's nothing that we can gain from it. And why shouldn't that be filled by someone who we elect? I think that we have a right to do that. To elect our leaders, and to have one that we have to listen to every year, lecture us on what we're doing wrong, and try to nudge us to align with the world according to Caston. It's insulting. I don't mean to insult my opponent in this debate, Serena, if it's your first interview. Congratulations, but welcome to politics. If you haven't noticed, you need a bit of a killer instinct. And I don't know if King Caston has that. And honestly, Serena, if you're going to open your first wave of attack with, it's my first interview, the first day excuse only works with waiters and retail workers. You will come to learn that you got to go for the kill or become prey to those who do.
Chad, you're saying that the monarchy has no real purpose, it's just a relic of a bygone era. Okay. Serena, your organization believe the king is a symbol of our country and should remain as such. Do you want to tell us about it?
Well, I'm not used to having two men explain me to me. It's usually only just one at a time. We have a website, so listeners to the show can find our mission statement there. But as for me, I don't need you to guide me, Marshall. I got this on my own. By the way, I loved you in 8 Mile.
You got a fangirl as a guest tonight.
I don't believe this is politics. You could welcome a politician to politics, but I'm not a politician, and neither is King Caston. That's the beauty of the monarchy. He's not part of politics, but he is part of statesmanship. In fact, he steers that ship of state. Study after study has shown that democracy and faith in it is waning across the globe. Very few people have any faith left in democracy anymore. We're just going through the motions of this system that we all know is not what it was cracked up to be. It was a savior that failed us. Politicians all lie to us because of the nature of the system and how it is set up and how we force them to compete. Add into that unlimited amounts of money for campaign contributions. And you have literally bought and sold candidates who might as well have company logos on their lapel pins designating their ownership. And because of how the party system works, they're forced to tell one thing to one group and another thing to another group contradictory because they need both to win an election against the other party in some of these districts. So the system quite literally forces them to lie to voters in order to have any chance at winning the election. It's an exclusionary system. And it's far too often a racist system, with gerrymandering, redlining, and other ways of corralling and retailing votes and voters, redrawing maps, and recruiting turf so there's more favorable to politicians. And isn't that simply creating 1,000 the mini-monarchies? The ones that you're afraid of? Don't you already have them right now? Isn't that why some congressmen are in Congress for 30 years? Just because you elect the person who is going to lie to you and run your country for a small group of elite and arbitrarily selected people doesn't mean that you have any more or less freedom than if you had not a king to, not exactly save the people from themselves, but from their own politicians, which is what you have in King Caston. And finally, Chad, you're right, I don't have a killer instinct. Because politics is a dirty business, monarchy is above politics for a reason. We don't like to get the crown muddy.
Wow. I don't know what to, say.
It's all right, Chad. Maybe one day you'll grow that killer instinct that you talked about.
Ooh, Chad, I think you just, got your ass kicked by a girl, bro. Serena, we gotta keep an eye on you. You're going places. Now, what are the themes you want to hear from the king tonight, or what would you want to see him address specifically? Chad, you want to go to the men's room? Maybe get a hanky to wipe the blood off your face from that last question?
Okay. Well, I'd like to see him talk about the future and maybe modernize the monarchy, trim it down, scale it back. There have been any number of instances that he automatically vetoes things from Parliament, so the governing isn't getting done. That's the problem with the monarchy. The monarchy won't work with the things that the legislature passes, and it is the monarchy and not the government holding up the governing.
Hey! I must firmly disagree. The Parliament puts poison pills, provisions, and stipulations in nearly every bill they sent this past year alone that would undermine or undercut or neuter the crown entirely. It's written into every bill. If you sent the king a clean bill within the parliamentary system, he would sign it, I bet. And I bet he would do so happily. It's not the king holding up the governing. You are simply being intentionally ambiguous with plausible deniability, but still deliberately obstinate by sending him bills he won't be able to sign without self-harming his position, and then blaming him for not signing away the store to you. You are impossible to work with on the parliamentary side, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is called gaslighting.
Why? Ha ha, wow, ha, oh man, ha, Chad, bro, really, ha, you're getting your ass kicked by this girl. Serena, yo up top.
Well, hey, I guess that was a good answer. Marshall's right. You'll go far.
Mr. Killer Instinct over here. He, oh, bold. Thank you very much to you both. Serena, Chad, always a pleasure. Bro, you just got pwned by a girl, and Emma never let you forget it. Over in America, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton have had this to say today.
In Cascadia, you got Caston, King Caston. What a tremendous guy. Let me tell you, he's been through more challenges than anyone I know. And let me tell you, he always comes out of them stronger than before, that I can tell you.
I have always admired King Caston and the Cascadian monarchy for their dedication to their people and their ability to adapt to the evolving world around them. It is clear that King Caston has embraced his role with grace and wisdom, embodying the true essence of leadership in a modern society.
Fresh off of his run in the third round for the presidency, and probably because he has nothing better to do for the next 21 days, please welcome Donald Trump, newly returned elected president of the United States.
Marshall, how have you been, my man? It has been a while, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, sir. Yes, it has. What are your thoughts tonight?
Well, I think Caston is a very interesting and unique figure in the Pacific Northwest, and he has certainly made a name for himself as a leader. As for our relationship, I would say that it's been a bit rocky at times, but I think we have come a long way in recent years. We have made progress on many issues, and I believe that we can continue to build on that momentum and work together to improve the region. There's certainly some people out there who are not happy with Caston and his leadership. They feel that he is too aggressive and that he has not done enough to address the issues facing the region. They have been vocal about their concerns and have tried to undermine him at every turn. But I believe that Caston is a strong leader and he has the support of the people. I think that he will continue to lead the Pacific Northwest in a positive direction.
So you are pro-Caston. What are your biggest differences between you both? Where do you see eye to eye and where do you differ? What's your most contentious point of conflict?
Well, I think that Caston and I have a lot in common. We both believe in the importance of leadership and the need to take action to address the problems facing our region. We also share a commitment to economic growth and job creation. However, there are some areas where we disagree. For example, I am a strong believer in the free market and free trade, while Caston is more of a protectionist. I also believe that immigration is a positive force for the economy, while Caston has taken a more restrictive approach. The state dinner with Caston was a very special occasion. The food was exquisite, and there was a wide variety of dishes to choose from. We had everything from seafood to meat to vegetables. There were also many different wines to sample. It was a wonderful experience, and I felt very honored to be there. Monarchies are a form of government that have been around for centuries, and they have played an important role in many societies. In a modern world, the role of monarchies has changed and evolved, but they still have a place. Monarchies can provide stability and continuity, and they can also serve as a symbol of unity and tradition. They can also be a powerful force for change and progress. So while democracies have become more prevalent, monarchies still have a role to play in the modern world.
Mr. President, recently regarding Cascadia, you said this. I'm not going to play this clip for you now, sir. Listen to this.
Let me tell you folks at Cascadia, you've got tech nerds and homeless people, and let me tell you, it's a disaster. They're doing drugs openly. They're too high to want to work, and let me tell you, this country is going in the wrong direction. Believe me.
And some, I assume, are good people. And I will tell you this, and I said it very strongly, and it only makes common sense. And that is a nation that truly has no clue. They don't know what they're doing. And now they're beating us economically. They are not our friend, believe me. And we need a truly great leader now. America first. And we will make America great again. And we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. And we're going to load it up with some bad dudes, believe me. We're going to load it up. Any guy that can do a body slam, he's my kind of... He's my guy. I did not say that the people of Cascadia are bad. What I said was that the region is facing some serious problems with drug use and homelessness. I believe that these issues need to be addressed and that the government has a responsibility to help those in need. I also believe that the tech industry has been a major contributor to the region's economic growth, but it has also created some challenges for the local community. I think that the region needs to strike a balance between the two, and I believe that I can help to achieve that balance. What gives Marshall? I thought we were friends.
Mr. President, we are, but this is my first time journalisting, and so...
I'm just kidding, Marshall. I've always said you were smart. Don't you all listening at home agree? Isn't he smart? Very capable, very classy guy, now that I can tell you. We're going to be very interested to watch King Caston speak tonight. He is a bit misunderstood by others, I think. But he will pull it off and turn around every person who doubted him. Tonight, even.
Sir, what do you mean by that?
I have a great relationship. You know, many people believe the mess up in the Northwest is Caston Rex's fault, but really it isn't. It is his responsibility to fix it, not his fault for it being the way it is. When others pile on an emotional hitmanship and have a party at his expense, online and off, it takes a toll that they are fully cognizant of. They are aware of the effects their words have, and so they use them, and the effect drives them deeper into a depression. They exploit that and then blame him for having a loser quality because they pervasively and coordinatingly all inundated him with things to depress him, expecting him to cloister up, and then point to themselves as better alternatives, saying, look at that loser, but he was no loser at all before they decided to insert themselves into the conversation. And they do that because if they did not try to interrupt him and paint him badly, they could never beat him and never defeat him, and they know it. They know that if it were a fair contention, that they could never beat Casey because they're not that great. So they have to make an effort to diminutize him as best as they can, because then they think that that makes them look better than him by comparison. But it's not a fair view of it. They know that they would never win a fair contention against him, so they have to make it as unfair as possible. He's naturally powerful and talented, and they aren't. They're conniving and untrustworthy. They're fake. He's real. You know, I think they have to make themselves look better by comparison after they paint him a loser, because if they did not interfere in the first place, they could never in the comparison look better than him, believe you me. And that, I can tell you, is the truth.
Recently, sir, Taylor Swift helped the king with a personal matter that has gotten him some negative pressure and negative press.
Let me tell
Do
you,
you think he should
folks,
apologize for that?
I think that everyone makes mistakes, and it's important to own up to them. If the king has made a mistake, he should definitely apologize for it. It's important to be honest and accountable, and apologizing is a good way to show that he's taking responsibility for his actions. I also don't think it was out of line, though, and so I say if, because I don't believe he should. I think it was a rare swing back at a group of people who have been delinquents, who have adhered to the king's enemies, and I don't think it was that much of a shock that he would have, even if unofficially, and privately countered. When the shoe is on the other foot, they don't like it. When they're being treated to the same treatment they give others, and they can dish it out, but they can't eat it themselves very well. Honestly, I was proud to see Caston stand up for himself. It proves he has self-respect. I was rooting for him. I said, go Caston! Keep swinging, buddy. And he did.
Well, sir, any last thoughts tonight?
God bless America, make America great again, and God bless Cascadia, and God save the king. Good to see you, Marshall.
Good to be talking with you, sir. Thanks again, Mr. President. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are minutes away from the 7th annual New Year's speech. I've been your host, Marshall Mathers. Please rise if you would like for the national royal anthem, and then the speech will begin. Ladies and gentlemen, Cascadians, all hear now His Majesty, the King. Good night.